there are 5 things that I think that would be like super useful to you to know before you start your career as a software developer. Hello smiley faces, Domenico Solazzo in here. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Domenico Solazzo. I've been a software developer for the last 20 years and now I'm trying to share all my knowledge on this channel. So today I'm going to share with you 5 things that I wish I knew before I start programming, and there are 5 really important things that might stop you to start your career as a software developer, or they might be like very useful to you to know so you don't get really stressed, depressed when you start your first job as a software developer. The first thing that I wish I knew that before I start programming was that software development is not only about coding. Problem solving is probably the biggest part you will spend your time with. What is problem solving? Problem solving is the art that when someone gives you a problem, you start to transform that problem in instruction for your software, but how you pass from there. So there is like a big part in problem solving where you need to research about the problem. So you need to, they give you like a given problem to solve in your company. You need to research about the problem, you need to ask questions when you don't understand the problem or some part of the problem. You need to start to brainstorm multiple solutions, because there is not only one way to code a solution, to fix a problem, to find a solution to a given problem, as I wanted to say. So you need to brainstorm multiple solutions, you need to start to analyze the pros and cons of different solutions, you need to start to deciding which one of your solution are the one that you are going to implement with the code that you really wanted to write in the first place. Before you even start to code that solution, you need to start to analyzing, research, deciding which solution you want to build in the first place. So that's super important. So don't get stressed if you feel that you are spending a lot of time thinking about what should be the logic, what we are trying to solve, what is the real problem, because that is part of your job as a software development. They are not paying you just to write line of code in a terminal. It's like they pay you for solving a solution, and problem solving is such an important part of your career as a software developer and your daily job. The second point is use Google, use Stack Overflow. They ask me always the same question. It's like, do software development use something like Stack Overflow? They do Google often? And the answer is yes, yes, and yes. Using Google, knowing how to use Stack Overflow is an important part as your daily job as a software development. You don't have to go in Stack Overflow and copy paste a given solution from a post in Stack Overflow on your code base, but these resources know how to Google for a given problem. So it's like, oh, I don't know how to write this UI in Python. It's just you go in Google, you write how to write a UI in Python, and you will see how many resources will come out in the Google search. Same for YouTube, same for all these great social network, this video platform that can give you so many tutorials, so many information from very good people out there, and you just need to know how to search. And same for Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow is very well known from the developer community. I think it's a very good place if you are stuck with a given problem, with a given library, with a fix a particular library, and a bug in Internet Explorer, and a bug in Firefox. Whatever you are trying to solve, probably there is someone else that was struggling or is struggling at the moment with the same problem that you had, and then it's like, I think it's like, it's very good just not to reinvent the wheel and trying to learn from how others solve the problem and trying to fix whatever you are trying to fix on your software system. And one major point that I will tell you is, one is like, if you find some solution that really solve your problem, just like thumbs up for that solution, because some people just put some time to put their response there, and contribute to this community. Don't be just like a passive part, just absorbing knowledge from others, like solution from others. But if you fix a problem in a certain way that you see that other people is struggling, just like write a response, try to be an active part of this community. This is like, is a good way to be a good developer citizen in our developer community. The third point that I would like to suggest you to think about is learn to ask for help. In point 2 we talk about how to use Google and Stack Overflow, and that is like kind of way to asking for help to other developers out there that maybe you don't know them, but it's like they left a solution for you. But an important point is like, you will work in a software team and the team is there for you, like you are there for them, to help them when there is any problem and you know maybe how to solve a given solution. So it's like learning to ask for help when you are stuck is super important, when you are junior, when you are senior, when you are a software architect, even when you are a CTO. So actually asking for question and asking for help to other team members is a good signal. It's a good signal that you are growing as a senior developer. It's not a signal that is like you're more stupid than the other, because senior developers are always helping each other. They're always asking questions. If they don't know something, they try to find for help, like online, but mostly like with their team members, because software development is a teamwork. You work with other people and you are there for helping your team members, and your team members are there to help you. Of course, this doesn't mean that you, when someone gives you a problem, you start immediately asking for help, asking for how to solve a solution. You make your research, you try to analyze with the problem solving we talked before. You need to spend some time to try to see if you can solve it, and of course, if you are getting stuck, ask for help. Another point that is very important to you to understand is, don't try to learn everything at once. It's like, I get so many questions. Okay, I want to learn machine learning, I want to learn Python, I want to learn web development, I want to learn mobile development, and you feel like, oh, I feel stuck. Of course you feel stuck, because like the amount of information you need to digest for each one of these fields is like, it's immense, it's huge. You cannot learn everything, but you should start to pick like one area at a time. So it's like, if you want to do web development, try to learn like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, the basic without any framework. Try to assimilate the concept, try to understand, if you understand the concept of HTML, CSS and JavaScript, how JavaScript works, before jumping to something more complex like Vue, React.js, AngularJS, whatever framework you want. Same with mobile development. People ask me like, should I do like iOS development? Should I do Android? Should I do cross-platform? Just like pick one. Don't try to do all of them together, but try to pick like one at a time. And the reason is, if you start to pick and try to learn everything together, you will have like so much information, all sparse, and you will have difficulty to connecting the dots, how all this technology are connected together. If you try to assimilate one at a time, one or two at a time, then it's much easier to digest this technology before passing on something else. So if you want to be a full stack developer as a web developer, maybe you want to learn backend and frontend, right? One solution would be like to learn like Python and JavaScript and HTML and CSS, try to connect everything together. It's like, honestly, I did that when I started, but it's like, if I was going back, I would try to focus more on learning first, like maybe front-end, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and maybe using like a backend like Firebase, And then when you feel confident with the front end, that you know enough and you see that it's like you can build the front end, then you can pass to the back end, pick just one language and just learn that. And this brings me like to another point, that is, there is no best language. Honestly, like, developers are very opinionated, so you could think that it's like PHP is better than Java, than C++, or in school they are learning Python, but I want to learn C Sharp, but now everyone is talking about Golang. What about Kotlin? What about Swift? It's like, they are all great language. Let me tell you, like, all these programming language are great language. I started with Visual Basic, my first job. I did like PHP, I did C Sharp, I did like a bit of Java, I did Swift, I did JavaScript, I did like web development, backend development, front-end development, I did mobile development. It's like, but I really enjoy all this programming language, and for whatever problem you are trying to solve, you try to pick the right programming language. But when you are starting your career as a software development, I will not spend so much time like debating which programming language you should learn, which programming learning you should learn first. Actually, I have like a video here somewhere where I made a video about which programming language you should learn first, and where I explain you like all the techniques how you can pick one programming language, your first programming language. So don't focus that on which programming language, just pick one and go for it, and watch the other video. Hope this video was helpful. These were like my 5 things that I wish I knew before I started programming. Hope they will be helpful for your career, and if they do, maybe you should click that like button, subscribe if you are not already, and of course, like every time, see you to the next video. Bye!